The programming portion of your midterm will be 2 separate questions and ask you to write methods. It is worth 30 points, quite a few points. I will be assigning partial credit, so put in as much as you can and hopefully it's all of it. The example asks you to write a method named print multiples that takes an integer n and an integer m as parameters, and that prints a complete line of output reporting the first m multiples of n. It takes a while to think through what that means, but I can already write the method header. So get started. Can you write the method header? Then you've got a good start. I'll start with public. There is no indication whether this method is static or not, so I'm not going to take that in consideration if I don't tell you. I'm not going to write static here. And does it return anything? There's no mention that it returns anything. It's going to do something. Recall that some methods will return a value and some methods do something. This is one of those do something methods. So the return type is void. We're not returning anything. The name of the method, and then let's determine what our parameters are. There's going to be an integer n and an integer m. Now let's see if we can get a better determination on what this method is going to be doing. Prints a complete line of output reporting the first m multiples of n. So here m is 5 and n is 3. I just did it in the order that it was listed here. So n is 3. The first 5 multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. And that is what is output. In this example, n is 7, so we'll do 7, 14, and 21. You need to be able to format the output as shown in a comma-separated list. This just speaks loudly of the need for a for and to know the difference between print and print line. I think I will start by outputting up to here. So there's quite a few literals there. You might want to use a printf. You could use just a print and use string concatenation. So the first. Now, 5 is the variable m. So I'm going to join m to that. Notice I have the space here. And then I'll have the literals, multiples of. Now I have the value n here. So I'll concatenate that and join it with r. Another space. And followed after that space, I'll have to do this inside of a loop. I brought it down to one line. I apologize. My word is putting in the wrong quotes. So now I'm getting ready to print out my list. And notice I've just done a print. I'm still up on the same line. I've got my space. I'm ready to print the 3. Let's do a for loop to do this. I is going to start at 1. And as long as I is less than or equal to m. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what it will count in the first example, and I++. So what do I want to do here? I want it to print out a 3 and a comma and a space. I'm kind of hesitating here because if I print out the first value of n, which is 3, well, that is n times 1. So each time through, when I is 2, 3 times 2 will be 6. When I becomes 3, 3 times 3, so that should say I, not 1. Okay, so n times I is going to get me this 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Do you see that? So you will have to put some thought into coming up with this algorithm, but we're going to print that out, and then we're going to concatenate that with a comma, space, and that will work out perfect actually until the last one, because when we get to the last one, I don't want to print out a comma here. I don't want it to print out 15 comma. That's not what I'm asking you to do. So I'm going to add an if statement. If I is not equal to M. So while I is 1 and I is 2 and I is 3 and I is 4, that's going to print out 3 times 1 comma, 3 times 2 comma, 3 times 3 comma, 3 times 4 comma. But when I becomes the same as M, I don't want that comma to come in here. So as long as I is not equal to M, I will go ahead and print it out with the comma afterwards. Else, when I does equal M, I want to print this out without that extra comma space. Just the value 15 will print out. That ends the if, and this ends my for, and then that is going to end my method. Step through this now. Once you think you've got it, step through this and see if it displays what you expect it to display. I just took a look at the solution below in your review, and there's a different approach that won't require this if. So take a look at that one too and see if that one makes sense.